Greetings from Las Vegas. It's a little bit chillier today, but I like to have the window open. I don't know, like what you can probably hear, and then I don't have like any sound upgrades. So thanks for tolerating that. Right, a couple of you were giving me shit and saying that these videos look too long, like I don't know, right? Like or one of my friends, well, we're friends on Facebook, but right, like he left a comment, and I was like, wait, are you trolling me or? Cause right, like this is not somebody who normally would give me a hard time, or I never noticed him giving me a hard time, but when I saw the comment he left, I was like, wait, are you giving me shit here? I don't know. So whatever, like I said, I promise to laugh at any comments that seem like, you're trolling or giving me a hard time or just shade or hate in general. I promised that I was going to laugh, and I did. So, cool. It's like, hey, see you on Facebook, I guess. But right, cool. So anyway, but somebody else too was saying like, oh, these look long, but yeah, I'll check them out. I'm like, well, the whole point is like it's story time. You can listen, while you clean or when you're just bored or this kind. Well, I don't really encourage people to be bored, but you just, for whatever reason, I'm not saying, I need an hour, 9 minutes of your full and undivided. You could even write. That's what's great about these YouTube videos is you can actually like pause them and come back. These stories, you can kind of like listen to one maybe and come back. Maybe that's inconvenient, but I mean, that's what I do whenever a story is longer. But anyway, so, but thanks for the constructive criticism already, because I have 8 subscribers. I just had all my fingers out for the jazz hands. 8 subscribers. 8 subscribers. Thank you. So today I was going to, and I'll thank you guys better in a different video. I just look right again. I said I was trying to make it faster, condensed, But anyway, especially if I'm not able to edit for or whatever. So anyway, today we're talking about stories of me being a slay and throw away type person when it came to engaging in just like casual sex situations and blah blah blah. I don't tell these stories like proudly now. Like my mindset is not necessarily what it was back then, but when I was in my younger 20s and I started becoming bitter Betty about different situations that happened to me, in and out of the military. And I'm not making an excuse, but I'm saying, like, for me, at least, like, I gave in to the pile up that I felt like was weighing in on me, whether I brought it on myself or just whatever. Right, like, I'm okay to take responsibility because it didn't change the feeling I had at the time. So, anyway, I had an axe to grind, and by then, I felt like if guys were going to, if I was encountering guys that were going to lie or take advantage or whatever I felt like was going on, then I was going to treat them the way they seem to like treating women. Again, this was over 10 years ago. I would say yes, our culture and society is evolving that fast in that in today's times, number one, casual sex isn't necessarily as demonized. Does that sound naive? I don't think it is compared to even 15 years ago, but anyway, at the time, slut shaming and like, somebody being a hoe and how many people you slept with was like always a point of interest, even 15 plus years ago. I don't know. I just feel like we at least talk about it differently. Do you not feel that way? Like where you live, that's still like a really big thing. Maybe demographic, like, or I'm sorry, geographic, that you know, I was living on the East Coast, so that was kind of just up and down the coast, like the Atlantic. Those were the different places I had lived. Out here in the West, you know, maybe I'm wrong to attribute it to a evolution of society based on time, but maybe just now that I live out here, casual sex is just a little more, I don't want to say regular, but we're just kind of like in this open thing where, although pro pro rape platforms seem to be getting a lot of momentum, um, my opinion, like these, like trivializing it, or you know, joking about it, this kind of stuff seems to be a little more regular to me, like my perception. Maybe just because we have more media platforms to see stuff like that. But right, like anyway, the point is, back then, sorry, back then, right, I was like on some, you know, treat the boys the way I feel like the boys treated me. Um, you know, people making up lies, and like, right, like if you didn't want to sleep with them, then they would lie about sleeping with you. And it just seemed so, at the time, it was like, so I worried about what people thought, and it was like so important to me, like, right, because I was buying into that culture of, you know, worrying that I'm a hoe, and oh my god, this is like the worst thing to be in the world, you know, or whatever. And just like, you know, but then giving into casual sex urges, and then feeling like shit about it later on, like, or the next morning. So I was like, well, because I'm a big fan of having your cake and eating it too. And once, you know, once I realized that people took pleasure in dragging people's names through the mud for no reason, right, like that was so naive. But right, like I honestly, you know, I wasn't very popular growing up. I know, imagine that. I wasn't very popular growing up, so I didn't have lots of friends that, you know, did this kind of gossipy stuff. Like, I was like kind of a nerd. I was friends with other academic girls, and yeah, we had our little dramas, but it didn't occur to me to like gossip and lie, and like, but like go out of your way to target somebody that hadn't done anything to you, like just because you don't like the way they look or whatever. Like, I didn't it's not that I hadn't been exposed to it, but you know, it didn't occur to me to do it. And maybe I thought as you got older, like whatever little bits of that from grade school faded away. I don't know. But right, like I felt kind of like blindsided when people were demonizing me for, you know, finding out that, you know, that I had allegedly slept with this one. And then like if a guy wanted to, you know, if a guy wanted to, and I won't say it's just me or act like again, like, disclaimer, it's not because I think I'm so special. I don't think I was the only one or whatever, you know, whatever neutralizes this perspective for you enough to listen, and just not necessarily agree, but I don't know, whatever, like not burst into flames from hatred and anger. But anyway, yeah, so I decided that I was gonna do guys the way I saw guys doing girls, which was to, you know, be all in their face and smoochity schmoo, and then, you know, you have sex and, you know, disappear. And I took it a step further, and would, you know, just go right to whatever position I knew I was gonna, you know, climax for fastest, and I would come and then get up and leave, like no matter what. And that's when I really solved that problem by making it worse. You know, I started getting, because this is pre-smartphone, thank goodness. Oh my god, thank goodness. Not because I wouldn't want to get caught like with this and that, but just because it's not anybody's business. And it's crazy to me, right? Like, it's not okay to film your conquest. Like, look, if you're in the slay and throwaway lane, Like, why do you have to take it a step further and like film someone, you know, either like without their consent legally, that's an issue, without their knowledge, and to, because you know it will degrade them while it's boosting you. Stuff like that, I think, is just so depraved. You know, no matter what gender is doing it, honestly. Unless everybody is consenting, like if the girl says, yeah, post that because I'm about that, you know, hey, cool. Then it's what I like to call a clean kill, right? Like she's down apparently, because again, like there are girls who are down. Like you don't have to sneak to, like, you know. And then again, like, to me it's like, why is it okay that you're getting off on degrading someone? Why is that part of the thrill for you? Yeah, I guess I am low-key like judging people that need to degrade somebody as I tell my story of having people and leaving. You see why this Buddhism is a work in progress? So anyway, yeah. Okay. So right, like one I remember distinctly, like, you know, we had gotten like, we got like a couple bottles. We were like just kicking it at his place, you know, right? We got to it in the bedroom. He's like all into it. You know, I get into my zone, do what I gotta do to make the fireworks go off in the Bermuda Triangle. And right, I remember him because I got up and he was like the kind of like the funniest one, that he like was laying on the bed and like was like leaned up, sat up, and was like watching me put my pants on. And he's like, "What are you doing?" And I said, "Oh no, I'm just you know, I'm putting on my clothes." And he's like, "Well, wait, I mean, what you?" He was like, just like sitcom classic reaction. And I used to get off on that. Like I used to like that used to be that, right, like thrilling the kill, because it's like, yeah, you were going to do that to me, so you're fair game, because you can't get mad that I did it to you just because you didn't get to do it to me first, right? Oh, you guys playing dog eat dog, let's do this, right? I was on a mission, like, wow. Now that, I mean, you would think I would have been like a lot more clever and ambitious about it, and not, but right, like that's how you know I was a psycho, because I was just in it for the thrill of the kill. I wasn't trying to like see how much I could get you to buy me. I wasn't trying to get you to invest. I wasn't trying to get you to pay any of my bills. I didn't think about any of that stuff. It was just about making you feel like shit before you made me feel like shit. You know, that was again, like, that was the zone I was in. That was the mindset. See, we're already almost at 13 minutes. Like, give me a break. You know, come on. So anyway. Okay, so, right, I was slaying and throwing away and, right, but then I started getting more haters for that. Because, of course, right, like, these guys were left, like, dumbfounded. And then they felt like shit. And, right, I already said it. They felt like shite and would be mad. And one guy, like, he called, and like, again, pre-smartphone days, phew. So because, right, like, I would not want somebody trying to blast me, like, even just verbally, because again, like, I would never consent to somebody taking pictures of us getting down in any sort of way. I'm not into that, you know. I don't. So just my preference, you know. If it's your thing, no judgment, you know. Again, the issue is consent. Like, you shouldn't, to me, I'm not only quite, like, it's not enough to be disgusted by people trying to sneak and record somebody giving them head or whatever like that, like sneaking and doing it. It's already disgusting that you're like sneaking and doing that, but on top of it, the fact that you that's like part of your pleasure, that's what gives me pause. Like, ooh, honey, like, you know, we all could go to therapy for something, but again, it's like, to me, it's like, why do you even want that to be your brand of pleasure? You know what I mean? So, and again, maybe I just don't understand in a way that makes sense or whatever. It just doesn't, it's not my lane. So, consent. So anyway, right, in my mind, these guys were consenting because I got a kick off of you assuming I was going to hang in there until you got to where you needed to go. Which, but it's tricky because, you know, a lot of the guys I was encountering wouldn't last more than a couple of minutes to begin with. So, um, I mean, that was just who I was encountering. So, anyway, I'm not saying like you don't last or whatever, because you know, it's not that I never encounter people who don't, you know, take longer, but I feel like that's usually just because either their head's not in the zone or you suddenly don't turn them on the way they thought you would, you know, like there's a reason that it's taking longer usually. But maybe that's just, again, my experience. So every now and then you meet one that everything lines up, right? And then again, maybe it's like vibration and energy, and everything just has to connect enough for it to be an extended stay. You know what I mean? So right, I was like, really take no prisoners. There was somebody that I really liked, or no, he really like no, he really liked me. No, he was just digging me. It was like a season, you know, like people are allowed to like people. He really liked me, but I was again still in this very like take no prisoners, slave throwaway mindset. And when we finally did get physical, because we were friends for a long time, we ended up getting physical. You know, I don't want to blame it on alcohol, but alcohol was definitely involved. And you know, one thing led to another, poom pow, and then it was like kind of a little thing for a little while, and I would like purposely wait for him to fall asleep, um, and then leave, sneak out of the apartment, so he will wake up to like nothing. It's like no snuggle, and right, like I'm still not big on snuggling. Maybe I haven't had it right. Like again, I'm not. I used to be anti like hugging and snuggling and all that stuff, and I'd be like, "Boo, I don't want to." It just doesn't, you know, always do go with me. But I attribute that to needing to change myself, and maybe I always just felt like maybe as I change, grow the f up, all this kind of stuff, maybe I would, you know, see the value and be able to enjoy hugging and snuggling and cuddling, and no shade if that's what you like. There's something wrong with me, apparently. You know, I don't know why. I would think I would, but to my surprise, it just, I'm so particular about that. That one guy that I mentioned that I was like so in love with or whatever, right? Obsessed much. No, we're still friends though. But anyway, like again, like even him, like it took a while. Like we would fall asleep together, and he would get so hot at night, and I would like again wait for him to fall asleep, and there was another bed in the dorm, and I would try to like sneak and sleep on that one, and he would like wake up from me moving and be like, and right, like now I look back on that as like I don't want to be corny and say cherished memory, but now it's like thinking back on when a time when somebody that I loved, you know, he wanted me to be next, like with him in bed and that kind of stuff, to the point where like I don't want to say like, oh, you don't have no regard for my feelings, that's so sweet, but like he wanted me to know like he really wanted that a lot. Like, can I please? Are you sure? Like, are you sure you don't love me enough to snuggle with me, kind of thing? And I guess I just found that part sweet about it. So anyway, but right, like I couldn't. He would fall asleep like on me, like a dead weight on me, and I at the time it just I could, you know, it was different. Like I'm not I don't want well, I guess I am basically complaining, but I'm saying at the time my mind was like, oh my gosh, like this is a lot, you know. I had to get used to that, and I since then was never really into the whole snuggly cuddly thing, and that didn't subside because I lived with a couple of guys romantically. Like, right, yeah. I wanted to make sure it was more than one because I could only remember one, but there were two that we like got into a sort of living together situation, or I was spending a lot of time at their place, and I just couldn't get into the cuddling. Like they would want to be holders and clingers and stuff, and I didn't. I couldn't get into it. So, right, I take responsibility. That's just my thing. So it was easy, you know, honestly, it was easy. And I would always make the excuse, like, if the guy did end up getting, and then I would make sure, like, no contact too. I would just stop answering their calls, which is why, you know, I started getting angry messages on my phone. You know, just people, that's when all of a sudden you're all kinds of this and that and fat bees and all the letters and all the profanities to try to make somebody feel bad for not for not wanting to like either continue having sex with them until they got where they wanted to go, or be like cuddly and snuggly and stuff like that. You know, actually, like, right, like some of these guys will call back on some really like angry stuff, and right, I would. Like, of course, right, like, my demon self would take total pleasure in them being mad. Well, a couple of times it was scary, because, like, they would come, because I stayed on the base, like, for example, when I was staying on the base, you know, a couple of people, like, would find out, like, which room I was in, and, like, be banging on the door. One guy, like, he was just, like, a known aggressive guy and kind of a man whore or whatever. I mean, whatever, do your thing. As long as it's consensual, do your thing. Sexy. So he kind of had like a reputation, you know, for sleeping around, just getting who, and he thought he was like real suavemente type thing, and I guess he was, and whatever. But like, right, like all these girls, and you know, he's right around the age where I guess Rolling Stones first start throwing their seeds out like Johnny Appleseed and start getting multiple girls pregnant. He was like right in that phase. Seems to come in like clumps. So, right, he had those kind of problems, so it was easy for it. And I didn't like pretty boys because I was like insecure, and I felt like they, you know, would act like they had the right to kind of treat you badly if you weren't hot or whatever, or like you were, like they must be making your dreams by saying anything to you because, you know, you're not like hot like they are, kind of thing. And whatever, do your thing. So I always, like, whatever conversations we had were usually kind of rude, because I was kind of like rude to him based on just watching him interact with different people, and I was like, I don't want him to think I'm on his jock because everybody else seems to be, and I'm cool. Like, I don't know why that was such a point to make, right? That on my part, that was corny, because I could have just been civil and still not worried about him. But right, I had to be like, you know, sassy. And if like, so we kind of just, I don't want to say we didn't get along, but right, like we had like friction. And but then finally, I forget how we got to the point where we ended up flirting with each other. I'll say both because I don't remember who it was. But right, like we ended up flirting with each other. I forget why, I forget how it got there, but I never took it seriously, and I didn't want to sleep with him, honestly. Like, he was hot and all, but he just, you know, I'm good. Right, by then I had enough guys like cursing me out and stuff like that. So so I was cool with him, but right, like ever since, like, I guess we must have joked like, oh yeah, you can come to the room and something. I guess I'm saying, I'm not trying to sound vague, but I don't know what was said that triggered him to come, you know, because he worked at the dorms, to come like knock on my door, and he would like bang the out of my door like every day for like at least a week, maybe more. He would just come in every day, and I would just not answer the door if I was there, and he would be like banging it, and he'd be like, I know you're in there, I know you're in there, da 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 da. And I'm like, oh my god, like, is it that serious? Because and now again, remember, like, this dude's popular. Like, I'm accepting that he was popular. All these girls, you know, he got girls driving up on us at the service bay, you know, or what am I trying to say? Well, we'll just say that for now. Anyway, they were driving onto the base to like demand that he gave them his debit card to pay for something, because she had, like, he had drama. Like, girls were, he got girls. It's not like he needed me, and I'm not at all acting like there was anything special about me compared to his stable. You know what I mean? Like, that's why I was like low key like. And then after that, I like when he did that for like the first couple 2 or 3 days. That's what really turned me off altogether. Then I'm like, okay, well, now for sure I'm not going to bang you because why are you acting like that? So right, like it blew my mind because I'm like, okay, you spent a lot of time taking shots at work to tell me I'm not cute. Oh my God, you're so fat, you know, because we're in the military. So like anybody who's not GI Jane, you know, right, and you know, I'm not disagreeing with what it like. I don't know anything to say what the fitness standards should be in the military, but of course there was like abundant fat shaming, and people felt like it was even more of a green light because you're technically supposed to be in shape, and I guess not even technically, you just are. So, or at least meet the physical requirements based on bippity bop up on the ladder. So, so right, like. I couldn't understand like why was he so hyped, but he was like aggressive, and he was like yelling stuff outside the door like, I know you're in there, ah! And he was like banging the hell out of my door. Oh my God, like to the point where I did almost answer, but I was like, no, Sony, hold your guns. And you know, right, like he was just acting bizarre. I'm like, I was under the impression you got lots of pee. Why are you acting like like you acting like you trying to like I owe you money or something. And I definitely don't owe you any Bermuda Triangle. That is not owed to anyone. We like all this from some jokey flirting. Like I didn't even remember it to be that serious. And I guess right, like again, assuming oh well, he gets so much, whatever. Like that's not even on the forefront of his brain. But right, it quickly turned aggressive. So I felt no guilt in slaying and throwing away. Um, but right, like it's still, of course, that's still karma. Like, I guess I don't want to say a lesson, but what I'll say about those situations and living that lifestyle is, of course, well, at least to me, it was stressful. I ended up, you know, falling for a couple of different people that, you know, maybe I wanted more than they did, or right, like a couple people that there was one guy like it was going so well, or like that was well that was the impression I got, right? You know, he was calling me like religiously, you know, because he lived in one of the towns or villes kind of like way outside Philly, but you know we were gonna make it work. I think we met on like MySpace or one of those type things, and he was so fine. Oh my God, was he fine. He was so hot. He was this I think he was Puerto Rican and black, something like that. I mean, not that it should matter, but just to give you a visual. He looked like a Puerto Rican and black Mr. Clean. Yeah. I don't know. That's my thing. I don't know, the shade, the close cut or bald head. That's sexy. And then he was like built, you know, like Mr. Clean. Like, oh, he was hot. So right, like I'm like smitten with his butt. And right, like it was all going so well, but I was like hella insecure. I was definitely heavier than this, and oh, I thought I saw something. Um, and right, like I ended up bringing him to my family's Christmas party, like the whole thing. I was like, I had it so bad for him, and we hung out like a few times. It wasn't like I was getting to see him every day because it was long distance, and I forget. I think he was something. There was something to where he gave me an excuse of why he couldn't drive all the time. I forget, but it was probably just a lie because again, like we couldn't even we had sex maybe like 2 or 3 times. We were together maybe like, I guess it counts that we were dating for like maybe 2 months, and he would call me every day at the same time at work because I worked in this office, and he would call me every day at the same time. And then I was supposed to, I think I was supposed to, he would call like my work phone because and then he told me that like during while we were dating that he said that he was diagnosed bipolar, and that you know, sometimes he could go off the rails, and that he could be like crazy jealous. So, you know, could I just reassure him by answering the phone? And I'm more like, right, young and naive, and man, he's like, you know, throwing down some good pipe and stuff, and he was just so hot and everything. And you know, we would talk about stuff, and but he's part of my creepy tale story too, though. I'm gonna make an episode about that. But just creepy things that have happened. Um, so anyway, he called me out on the office phone. I missed it. Like, it rang twice, and then when I picked it up, it was already gone. And then so I tried to call him. I think I had like a prepaid minutes phone at the time. So like, I don't know. I don't remember how, but exactly why, but the point was, like, I couldn't call him back. Like, I couldn't get a hold of him. And right, like, couldn't get a hold of him. Looking him up online, like, suddenly not seeing him, he disappeared. So stuff like that would happen to me. Sexy. Sorry, something like that would happen. Stuff like that would happen to me. You know, and so the point is, not the whole point of everything, but like those stories, where what at least I feel I learned from it is that, again, negative causes still create negative effects, and positive causes create positive effects. So, and there are no like revenge effects. So, like, me feeling justified about slaying and throwing away guys, you know, it doesn't justify me doing that, because I feel like there were guys who wronged me. The same way I don't want a guy to treat women, or, you know, it's not gender exclusive. I don't, but to be fair, like, just the way I'm looking at it, you know, that I don't want men to mistreat women based on like one girl doing them dirty, or even a few. That's not an excuse to start treating people badly. You know, and honestly, like, even if that's what their intentions ends up being, then make the decision if you are still going to have sex with them. If you feel like it is a vibe of conquest and that's not your thing, in other words, you feel like this person is just trying to have sex with you and throw you away, like on some, yeah, I slept with so and so type stuff, trying to build a reputation on your neck. If you feel that way, you know, decide whether or not you still want to sleep with them. Knowing if you feel like you're getting that impression. At least, you know, that's the way I look at it now. And, you know, I can't hold that bitter Betty of like, no matter if like all the men I ever dated, or had a fling with or whatever, like, you know, I put myself in a position, and I'm not making it like, oh, it's always the woman's fault, you know. Again, just all I can do is upgrade my own life condition, so that I'm attracting quality people that don't want to do those type of things to other people, or B, to have the wisdom that if I know I don't want to feel degraded, or I feel that there may be a potential for me to allow this person to make me feel degraded by sleeping with me and then not calling anymore and stuff like that. I mean, people feel how they feel, but again, it's up to you. If you, you know, even if that person's being vague about it, if you say, hey, you know, so if we sleep together, I'm kind of getting attached and I like you. So if we sleep together, is this just, you know, do you feel like are we still gonna talk and stuff like that? Will that change things? And they'll have the chance to be honest. And I guess all you can do is make it as clear as possible that, you know, you don't want to hold it against them, but, you know, you're giving them a chance to be honest. You know, and then decide from there. Now, again, like, you know, of course there are people who lie, oh yeah, no, I'm totally going to call you, and then they do sleep with you and they still don't. You know, again, the ball's in your court. If you feel like this is someone who could lie about it, up to you if you're going to still sleep with them. You know, I know, but sometimes you're just so smitten with somebody, it's hard to like think about all that. But, you know, just for me at least, you know, I chant to only sleep with people that I'm not going to feel degraded or trashy about. And, you know, also knowing who I am. So I'm not giving somebody the power to make me feel shitty, basically, just because I slept with them. You know, haha, you slept with me, like, you idiot. It's kind of, you know, I get it and I don't. I don't get why we would uphold a system like that. That makes no sense. It's an admission of that you are like a pile of garbage that this person mounted. So right, like you have to call yourself garbage to degrade them for saying they hopped on it. So right, for me, I don't really agree with that system. Anyway, I definitely was planning to keep this at like 17 minutes. We've literally done like double that and more. Thanks very much. I hope you're having a wonderful weekend and that the rest of the week is great for you. Nam yo haring gekyo.